Following the passing of Queen Elizabeth II, it has been reported that King Charles III spoke with Prince Harry about the matter of the royal titles of his children. When their grandfather assumed the throne, Archie Harrison, 3, and Lilibet Diana Mountbatten Windsor, 1, automatically received the titles of Prince and Princess, respectively. The Sussex children would also receive the HRH style along with the title. However, their names were not changed on the royal family's website along with other changes to royals' titles after the Queen's death. Charles is being understood to have long desired a stripped-back monarchy and with a reduced number of working royals as well as royal titles, which means the Sussex's kids' titles have been up in the air. Following the Queen's death, Prince William, Catherine and their children's titles on the royal family's website were automatically updated to reflect their new titles, but not has there been any change for Harry and Meghan's children. They remained addressed as Master Archie and Miss Lilibet. Roya Nika, a royal expert, claims that King Charles has spoken to his son to ask what he wants his children to be known as. In response to the Royal Beat's inquiry about whether the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's children will receive new titles after King Charles assumes the throne, she said, Archie and Lilibet, children of Harry, automatically acquired the titles of HRH and Prince and Princess upon the passing of the Queen. They now have that, although their new titles have not been updated on the royal website. They continue to be Master and Mississippi. It is my understanding that this was discussed with father and son when Harry was over here. When Charles asked him, "What do you want?" Harry replied, "I'd like my children to be able to decide about their titles when they come of age. It's not my decision to make for them." William and Catherine's new titles were updated right away. We can only accomplish it if we maintain the titles. They currently possess the titles, but it is up to Charles to decide whether to let them keep them or whether to revoke them by the issuance of letters patent. There have reportedly been arguments behind the scenes over the issue, with a source telling The Sun, Harry and Meghan are not pleased about the apparent absence of titles. The source said, Harry and Meghan were worried about the security issue and being prince and princess brings them the right to have certain levels of royal security. Harry and his father's relationship has had its share of ups and downs. Harry once said to U.S. talk show host Oprah Winfrey that there was a lot of hurt since Charles had stopped returning his calls prior to the Megxit disaster. Later, the Duke attacked Charles's parenting abilities, accusing him of expecting his kids to deal with the demands of royal life and claiming that his upbringing had caused him a genetic pain and suffering. Archie, according to Meghan, was denied the title of Prince due of his race. Archie was seventh in line to the throne when he was born in May 2019, but he was too far behind to inherit a title. The Duchess claimed that an unknown royal family member had made a discriminatory remark regarding Archie's skin tone before to his birth. Archie, who resides in California with Harry, Meghan, and Lilibet, his one-year-old sister, is now technically a prince as a result of Charles's succession to the throne. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex and Buckingham Palace, however, have not yet confirmed whether he will use the title of prince or whether Lily will use that of princess. Last week, it was reported that King Charles could gift his grandchildren titles, but not without a caveat. Katie Nicholl, who recently published The New Royals, said that Charles could insist that any titles given would come with strings attached to try and keep the California-based pair in check, reports the UK's Express. Ms. Nicholl told Palace Confidential podcast, but if that did happen, it is going to come with a caveat. He is going to insist that Harry and Meghan are respectful of the institution if they are taking the titles of the institution. That is very important to him. She claimed that the future monarch will not distribute titles freely since titles matter to Charles. It has been suggested that Charles might adopt the strategy outlined by Danish Queen Margrethe, who recently relieved her grandchildren of their royal responsibilities and titles. The author of the book on the British monarchy asserted that constitutional specialists she consulted for the project, including Peter Hennessy and Dr. Ed Owens, all observed this pattern of the British monarchy moving into a sort of European-style royalty. And if that's the case, Ms. Nicholl continued, and if that is the case, then possibly they're not going to get these titles.